My beloved child, I have watched you pass through so many crossroads of your life where grace and temptation stand only a breath apart. Time and again I have sent you signs gentle yet unmistakable, so you might pause and discern what belongs to heaven. But you brushed them aside, supposing everything was mere coincidence. Now I give you one last chance to awaken, lest all you take for granted, reputation, wealth, security, dissolve like dust in the wind. I see you bow your head to beg for miracles, yet your eyes stay fixed on the numbers in your account. You sing of surrender, yet your heart quivers whenever profit slows. Your faith, meant to be the lamp for your steps, is quietly being traded for the market price of this world. My child, true blessing is not measured by the thickness of a wallet or the luxury of a house. What I promise is never instant riches, but salvation, peace, and a heart made new. When you seek the kingdom first, I will provide what remains in wise ways and at the right time. Do not let anyone make you believe that my love is proved by abundant possessions. The holy promise is never get rich quick, but grow mature in grace, a gift only the steadfast recognize. Many speak in my name, and with ornate phrases proclaim financial miracles. They say, "This is your last chance, act now, or lose the blessing," yet what they offer is bait for greed and fear. Learn to discern, verify the source, listen to the Spirit, and refuse the spectacle. Do not share or endorse content dressed in piety, but scented with commerce. I do not need marketing tricks. I desire to be known through love, truth, and a clean heart. Remember, blessing does not eliminate effort. I bless faithful hands, not crafty schemes. Make a plan, pay your debts, work and deal uprightly. This is true cooperation with my grace. When you need direction, seek trustworthy companions, a spiritual director, a pastor, or a faith-formed financial counselor. The enduring path has no spiritual shortcuts, only small steps each day, more faithful to the truth. Faith cannot live alone. When you pray, ponder my word, and partake of the sacraments with your brothers and sisters, you let healing light seep to the roots of your wounds. Share rather than parade, witness rather than boast. This is how true community is built. Learn to discern what I promise, what you desire, and my timing. That is the sacred discipline that steadies your steps amid material temptation. When financial storms arise, do not panic. Believers are not spared hardship. They are given strength to pass through it. Every life has its own cadence. You need not compare or tally results. Let trials teach you repentance, gratitude, and deeper service, for only in such simple things will you behold the true miracle. God abides with you, whether your purse is empty or full. My child, I have seen your eyes once light up at the words, financial miracle. You sat in the pews, hands clenched, secretly, hoping I would open heaven's storehouses and pour down wealth. You thought that if you believed enough, gave enough, declared enough words of faith, I would overturn your life in a moment. But tell me, if I am a loving father, why would I turn love into a transaction? Why would I train you to count blessing in units of money? I am not a broker of miracles. I am the Savior of souls. Faith is not a lottery ticket you clutch each morning for luck. It is a path you must walk, sometimes across stones and through storms. You have forgotten that the greatest miracle is not a full purse, but a heart freed from bondage. There are those who are poor yet serene, and those who are wealthy yet still thirst for the peace money cannot buy. When you kneel, I do not look at the offering in your hand. I look at whether your heart still knows how to love, to forgive, and to live truthfully in the good. People forever try to quantify me. They craft formulas of faith as though I were a machine. If I believe thus and pray thus, I will receive thus. But faith has no formula. It is relationship, not arithmetic. When you love someone, truly do. You demand wages from them, yet you would have me pay your faith with silver and gold. The world has deceived you, making you think blessing must appear in a bank balance, rather than in restful sleep or grateful eyes. Once in the scriptures I told of the rich young man who came to Jesus. He had kept every commandment and lived uprightly, but when invited to sell his possessions and follow the Lord, he went away sorrowful. Why? Because he had many possessions. Do you see his faith stopped at the threshold where greed began? He believed in God yet clutched his purse. He loved God but only within the limits money allowed. I recount this not to condemn but to hold up a mirror. If I asked you to release what you grasp most tightly, would you dare to let go? I know that in these times, hearts are weary and anxious. Hunger, debt, and pressure make it easy to believe anyone who declares God will double and triple your assets. You breathe easier, thinking this is my favor, but I have never promised ease. I promise to walk with you, not to pave a flawless road. Those who preach the gospel of wealth have taken a shard of light to cover the whole sky so that you see only material glory and forget salvation. That is when you begin to pray not to meet me but to obtain something from me. Look to Job, who lost all his possessions, his children and his health, yet still said, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be his name." Job did not treat wealth as blessing. He treated faith itself as survival. I allowed him to walk through the night so he might learn that light is not stored in earthly vaults, but in an unchanging fidelity. You may lose everything, and yet if you keep faith, you have lost nothing. You may keep everything, and yet if you forfeit faith, you have lost yourself. I do not despise your longing for a life of sufficiency. I know you need clothing, food, and shelter, but understand this: the kingdom does not arrive by accumulation, but by surrender. When you seek me first, I add what you truly need, but that addition is the reward of love, not a debt I must repay. If you set profit above my word, you will always be restless for money, knows no stopping point, and desire has no bottom. Some ask, does God want us to be poor then? No, my child. I do not glorify poverty. I honor faithfulness. I want you to be a wise steward who uses wealth to sow love, not a servant enslaved by wealth. You may be rich, but be rich in grace. You may succeed, but let your heart belong to me, not to gain. For with a single gust of time all possessions can vanish, yet a steadfast soul abides in me forever. I remember the widow who offered 2 copper coins. Among many who carried bags of gold, she alone gave all she had. I did not look at the amount, I looked at the heart. Do you see? What makes me smile is not how much you give, but the spirit with which you give. When you share in scarcity, love in woundedness, and trust in the night, that is the offering that delights me. You have prayed for me to open heaven's gates, but I want to open your heart first. If your heart is locked by fear and calculation, even miracles cannot enter. I do not wish you to live on borrowed faith, faith that survives only so long as your wallet is heavy. I want you to live by true faith, faith that stands when all else collapses. Such faith is understood only by souls that have passed through trial. Do not let those who peddle sweet miracles steal your holy simplicity. They speak in my tone, yet their hearts are not mine. Do not seek me on dazzling stages or measure me by donation totals. I do not dwell in spotlights. I am present in honest tears and in hands that touch the suffering. If you truly wish to see me, go to those who cannot repay you. There you will behold my face more clearly than in any financial miracle. I know you fear lack. You have tasted the sting of being overlooked, of being judged for not being successful enough. But hear me, you are not defined by your purse. You are defined by the precious blood of my only begotten. You have worth because you are loved, not because you are paid. Believe this, and the fear of poverty will melt like morning mist, for you will know that even if all turn away, I remain your home. There are times I allow you to enter emptiness, not to punish but to heal. Like a potter I press and shape you, so the vessel may hold less of the trivial, yet contain more of the true. It hurts, but in that very pain you are remade according to my goodwill. You think I am taking away, yet I am clearing space to give what is truer, sturdier, and everlasting. If today you feel at a loss, remember, I have never forgotten you. Do not imagine I favor the rich for you. See only the surface. I see hearts imprisoned by abundance that has made them forget me. As for you, even if your hands are empty, if your heart is full of my grace, you are richer than any. This is wealth untouched by markets, unshaken by inflation, unthreatened by thieves, and never exhausted. True blessing is not found in having more, but in the holy capacity to say enough. When you learn contentment, I grant more peace. When you share, I grant more joy. When you live simply, I grant more freedom. But if you keep chasing more, you will always feel poor, not for lack of things, but because your soul has not yet come to rest. Remember, you are called to bear witness to love, not to flaunt achievement. Live so that others seeing you will long to seek me, not to envy you. Let your life become a quiet song rising above the world's clamor, reminding all that true blessing is not in the market's roar, but in the steady breath of those who trust. And when you grasp this, you will understand why I warn you to awaken to the seduction of sweet promises. They do not merely distort my image, they also send your soul astray. Therefore, when you face invitations to sacred investments or financial miracles, take one step back. Step back to see me more clearly. Step back to hear the whisper within. Your blessing is not in the balance, but in the life. And one day, when you have learned that lesson, you will begin to notice another kind of temptation, more subtle, not born of money, but of my very name being misused. Do not be afraid, for I will teach you how to discern, so you do not fall into the honeyed web of those who wear the mask of light. There are things that do not come from obvious darkness, but from counterfeit light. My child, the evil one, never calls himself the evil one. He wraps himself in the radiance of morality, the fragrance of sanctity, and the sweet voice of active faith. He knows you love me, so he dare not show his ugliness. Instead, he borrows my name to sell illusions that smell of money. And so words like blessing, miracle, and a season of abundance are sprayed like nectar, sweet, alluring, and yet adhesive to the soul. I have watched many of my children sit beneath dazzling stage lights, shouting at slogans like, "Act now, the Lord is waiting. This is the last chance. Whoever gives today will be blessed 100-fold." They think they are being encouraged, yet in truth, they are being led by an invisible hand, not mine. Do you see it? The manipulator never urges you toward me, he only urges you toward his own purse. Religious manipulation begins with emotion, not with truth. It strikes at the fear of missing a blessing, at the greed of being elevated, at the craving to be noticed. When someone says God will grant it if you act immediately, that is no longer my word, it is the tactic of a merchant of faith. I have never put a countdown clock on grace. Those who decide in panic are no longer free believers, but mere customers in the marketplace of religion. Take note, my word never hustles you in alarm. The Spirit does not shout. He speaks softly, very softly. Only a watchful heart will hear him. When you hear the loud call, do not miss this sacred opportunity. Know that it is not me, but a market trap dressed in holy robes. Such a voice knows that a pinch of fear will cause you to forfeit reason. And when reason sleeps, faith is swapped out. I do not blame you, for I know your heart only wants to be near me, to be blessed, to live more truly. But remember, true faith needs no stage. It needs no live-streamed prayers, no rousing soundtrack, no one bellowing, "Amen." True faith grows quietly in a small room where you and I face one another. There is no noise there, only breath and fidelity. My child, this world is crowded with shepherds who are not true. They speak my name, but their hearts bend toward silver and gold. They set up my image, but to sell tickets. They perform miracles, but they are staged to astonish, not to lead souls to salvation. Do not hate them, but do not trust them. For if you hate, you become like them. If you trust, you may lose me. Remember the story of Simon in the Acts of the Apostles. Simon saw the apostles lay hands in prayer and the Spirit descend, and he coveted that power. He brought money, hoping to buy the gift of the Holy Spirit. But Peter rebuked him. May your money perish with you, because you thought you could purchase God's gift with silver and gold. Do you see? Religious manipulation is no invention of our age. It has been with us from the beginning, when the human heart first believed it could trade with God. Simon was not a monster. He was a man bewitched by sacred power. So too are many today, not wicked, merely thirsty for power. They think that if they can activate miracles, they will be revered as God's people. But true power needs no proof. It is not found in collapsing bodies or surging emotions, but in the capacity to love the unlovely, to forgive those who wound us, to endure suffering with patience. That is the real miracle. Be brave enough to step back from the clamorous crowds and listen again for my true voice. For I am not in the thunder nor in the fire. I am in the gentle whisper. When you hear people shout, act now, so you don't miss the sacred moment. Simply smile and say, my blessings are not confined by human clocks. In that moment you have resisted the subtlest thing of all emotional manipulation in religious dress. Religious manipulation takes another form too, when miracles are not for sale, belonging is. They make you think, if I don't join this group, if I don't do as they do, I won't be blessed. I have never taught you to fear exclusion. I call you into the freedom of love, not into sectarian chains. Do not let your faith be caged by a logo, a slogan, a movement. You belong to me, not to any organization. The manipulator also binds souls with kindness. They say, if you truly believe you must share this post, give right now, prove it with action. But love does not need proof, it needs honesty. You do not need to flaunt your faith with a post, nor pay a fee to hear my voice. My voice charges no admission. It sounds whenever you grow still. Learn the grace of healthy doubt. When something sounds too sweet, too urgent, too certain, stop and ask, did God truly say this? At times your silence will be the victory. Only when you cease reacting do you hear what is real. The Spirit is never in a hurry. He does not fear being missed. I know you fear that if you do not act, the blessing will pass you by. But you forget that I do not measure fidelity by speed. I measure it by steadfastness. You may be slow, do not be wrong. You may wait, do not compromise. Faith is not born of panic, but of trust. When you learn to wait in quiet, you will have overcome the era's greatest manipulation, the fear of falling behind in faith. There are also those who use me to garnish their ambition. They preach a prosperity dream and stamp my name beside it as if I were a sponsorship badge. But I am no brand. I do not underwrite the projects of greed. Be watchful for religious zeal, if unpurified, easily becomes a tool of control. Sometimes the one who says for God is only saying for me. Religious manipulation does not come only from others. It can rise from within you. When you want others to see you as more moral, more holy, more anointed, that is when you are unwittingly manipulating my image to feed your pride. Do not be ashamed to notice this. Everyone slips. But when you humbly look back and ask me to cleanse you, you become clearer than ever. My child, I do not want your faith to be a mask. I want it to be skin joined to your very flesh, inseparable. When you live truthfully, faith becomes beautiful. When you act apart, it becomes a coat of paint that flakes. Be weak if you must be real. Let me see you in every crack, for I love you not because you are perfect, but because you dare to be true. Let me tell you another story. Ananias and Sapphira, Acts 5:1-11. They sold a field and brought the money as an offering, yet secretly kept a portion. They did not lie to humans. They lied to the Holy Spirit. Their death was not about stinginess but deceit. Do you see, religious manipulation is sometimes not about mastering others, but about blinding oneself. When you use piety to lacquer over sin, faith becomes the most dangerous tool of all. Therefore, learn to separate the sacred from the man-made. True prayer needs no audience. True repentance needs no microphone. True faith needs no stage. Seek a quiet place, a corner of the house, an early morning, a small candle, where only you and I are present. There you will see that I have never left, no matter how loud the world becomes. And when you can stand firm against false promises, you will naturally learn to live wisely in the world. I want you not only to avoid evil, but to do good with your own hands. Faith does more than resist, it builds. It does more than say no, it also says, "Come begin again." When you recognize manipulation and step out of it, do not rush to judge those still entangled. Reach out your hand, for you were once there. Be a small light, not a scorching torch. Help them see that God does not demand payment to love them. Tell them this true grace cannot be bought and cannot be sold. It can only be received in humility and trust. Then as you begin to live in the world with faithful hands, as you learn to steward, to work, and to rebuild your life by truth, you will find that faith is no longer vague. It becomes action, steps, labor, little by little, like a sower in the quiet. For you will understand that true faith not only resists temptation, it also creates what is good. Some wounds are healed only when you begin again with your own two hands. You have wept over faith exploited and trembled at the shadow of deceit, but now you must learn to go on. Faith does not stop at shunning what is wrong. It must take root in daily life, in each task, each coin, each relationship. And what I want you to grasp today is this: holiness is not on the platform, it is in your ordinary work. Let me speak to you as to a craftsman. When you work with an honest heart, your hands become my instruments. Every hour of labor, every drop of sweat is a wordless prayer. Do not think I am present only within sanctuaries. I am right where you work, in the shop, in the office, in the field, in the figures and the plans. So long as you act with a straight conscience, that whole world becomes an altar. You often ask me to open a new door, yet seldom stop to see what you have done with the doors already open. You wait for a miracle, while the miracle is hidden in your faithfulness to today's small task. I do not need you to do something grand. I need you to do what is right, even if it is small. Only those who are faithful in little are entrusted with more. Have you ever wondered why I choose ordinary people for great work? The apostles were not scholars or wealthy merchants. They were fishermen, a tax collector people who knew how to labor. In that labor they learned patience, the habit of listening, the grace of waiting, qualities I need for sowing the good news. Faith does not sprout from illusion, but from the habit of honesty. You may speak 1,000 prayers, but if deceit remains in your work, that faith has not yet taken root. I do not want you to split worship from work. Prayer and labor must breathe in one rhythm. When you trade with integrity, pay just wages, refuse exploitation, reject fraud and bribery, every transaction becomes a testimony to the kingdom of heaven. That is how you preach the gospel with your own hands. Know this: the faithful person is not the one who never falls, but the one who keeps doing what is right, even when no one is watching. When others cut corners, the faithful walk steadily, step by step. When the world says, "You must be clever to survive," the faithful choose integrity. Do not fear loss, for what you keep is what no one can steal, the peace within your soul. At times I allow your work to face setbacks, not to punish you, but to see whether you still keep faith. Faithfulness is not measured by outcomes, but by your posture under trial. When you continue to work, though nothing has yet changed, you bear witness to true trust. When you still pay fair wages, though revenue declines, you are living the gospel. And when you give thanks, though your desires are unmet, you are touching my heart. Remember, faith does not excuse you from responsibility. You cannot ask me to pay your debts if you still spend without restraint. You cannot cry, Lord, why am I poor, while you remain lazy and waste your time. I cannot bless seed that has not been sown. Miracles come when you are willing to bend low to the earth. I do not drop bread from heaven for those unwilling to knead the dough. Therefore do not hunt for miracles, sow them through your labor. Yet labor alone is not enough. You must learn wise stewardship, the part many who believe in me most often neglect. Some think faith means leave everything to God, and so they live without plans, without reserves, without discipline. But trust is not surrender to carelessness. Trust means doing your utmost and leaving the rest to me. Learn to record and review, to plan to spend by principle, to manage time as a treasure. I love spontaneity, but I bless preparation. Seek out those who know more than you, spiritual directors, mentors of upright life and proven experience. They will teach you not only how to prosper, but how to remain clean of heart. A prudent financial advisor helps you avoid the traps of getting rich quick. An honest spiritual guide helps you discern what is grace and what is desire in disguise. I never place you alone in the world. I set people around you so you may learn and grow. When you learn to balance faith and work, you will taste a strange peace. You labor diligently without fear. You manage well without being enslaved. For you know that all in your hands is entrusted, not owned. Wealth, time, health, each is given, so you may use it rightly. One day you will answer me, not with the sum you amassed, but with this: how faithful were you with what I gave? Some say God blesses those who pray much. I say God blesses those who are faithful in their work. For when you work with a clean heart, you are praying with your actions. When you offer each day's effort as an oblation, you are binding heaven to earth through labor. True faith is not long prayers alone, but constancy in the smallest act. My child, do not despise small things. A table wiped clean, a gentle word, a thank you spoken in fatigue. These are seeds of the kingdom. I am there in the most ordinary seconds. Do not imagine I smile only when you achieve the extraordinary. I smile each time you choose what is right, unseen and unpraised. Nor should you fear failure. Failure does not prove my absence. It proves you are still learning. When you fall, do not ask, why ask, what must I learn? At times I let you lose money, so you learn the price of honesty. At times I allow you to be deceived, so you will learn discernment every fall. If you will look back with wisdom, becomes a costly lesson, yielding the gift of prudence. Practice gratitude, even when your work has not yet borne profit. What you are sowing is not only income but virtue. Patience, temperance, integrity, these are investments that endure. When you plant them, you will reap the fruit of peace, which no thief can steal. And as you live this way, you will come to understand working is also a way of loving God. Every plan you draft in the spirit of service, every task you complete without deceit, is a hymn of praise to me. You are preaching with your labor. No pulpit, no microphone, only faithfulness. See how true blessing never floats above reality. It rests in your hands, in your sweat, in the long days you endure without complaint. When you work with love, toil becomes prayer. When you spend with gratitude, money becomes an instrument. When you are faithful amid defeat, your life becomes a sermon. One day you will discover that what your faithful hands have built has become a shelter for many. You are not working only for yourself. You are restoring trust for those whose trust was stolen. By a life made straight, you become a living testimony to the world that faith does not make people idle. It makes them work with a quiet heart. I am with you in every step of that journey. When you calculate, I enlighten. When you decide, I guide. When you sweat, I wipe your brow. When you are weary, I lay my hand upon your shoulder and whisper, "You have done well, keep going. I will take care of the rest." Then when you have learned faithfulness and wisdom, you will see that work is not only to feed the body but to nourish faith. Those who labor faithfully learn to love concretely, to share rightly, to help without pride. From this, a spiritual community is formed, where those who believe live together, pray together, and lift one another up. Morning never breaks with noise. It arrives quietly, little by little, just as I work in your life without fanfare, steady, patient, faithful. Perhaps you have not noticed that the first light is a lesson in steadfast labor. It makes no promises, demands no reward. It simply does what it must each day. If you live like that light, you will understand what it means to work in my grace. Work the burden you often resent is in truth the language of faith. When you till the field, draft the plan, tend the child, or sell your goods in the market, you are saying to the world, "I believe in tomorrow, though today is hard." In refusing to surrender to fatigue, you offer prayer through your sweat. And I listen, not with ears, but with the cadence of your steps, and the breath you steady though you are tired. Do not let anyone convince you that only sacred tasks please me. A vestment is no holier than a work shirt, and an altar no holier than a desk if you work with a pure heart. When you sweep a room with love, it becomes a sanctuary. When you reckon with honesty, it becomes a prayer. When you help the weak with no thought of gain, you are preaching the gospel without words. Engrave, this labor is not only for making a living, but for becoming like me. From the beginning, I worked 6 days and rested on the 7th, not because I was tired, but to teach you that creation is holy. When you work, you join me in sustaining and continuing that work. Therefore, labor with eagerness and gratitude, not as one compelled. A task done with love nourishes the soul before it feeds the body. I know it is not easy to remain faithful amid temptations. You will meet voices saying, "Be clever, cheat a little, and you will succeed faster." The world loves shortcuts, but the kingdom walks the long road. Remember, every path without truth is a dead end, even if it is paved with gold. Faithfulness does not mean never erring. It means never betraying the truth once you see your error. Someone once asked, "Why must I toil when God could bless me at once?" And I smiled. A blessing that comes without labor turns you into a consumer, not a co-worker. I want you to build with me, so when the harvest comes, you understand its worth. As a grain of wheat must be buried to sprout, so must you pass through sweat to see the miracle bloom. But labor alone is still not enough. You need stewardship, not by trickery, but by wisdom. Some produce much and keep little because they have not learned to value what they have. Wealth without discipline is water poured through open fingers. Begin with small things, keep records, make plans, distinguish true needs from wasteful habit. I do not forbid enjoyment. I want you to know that pleasure without restraint becomes slavery. You once thought wisdom is knowing much, but true wisdom is knowing enough. When you know what you have, what you need, and what you can share, you are living in freedom. Wise stewardship does not kill joy. It guards joy from turning into sin. One who governs time, money, and emotions will move lightly through life, untroubled by the whirl of comparison and anxiety. I do not call you to be flawless. I invite you to be an honest steward. You may err, you may lack, only do not deceive. When you are truthful with me and with yourself, you will know how to amend without shame, how to stop without collapse. That truth is the foundation of all wisdom. There was once a man I told of in the scriptures, Joseph, the son of Jacob. Sold as a slave, Joseph became the steward of Potiphar's house, and then the steward of all Egypt. What drew blessing to him was not spectacle, but the spirit of fidelity. Betrayed and imprisoned, Joseph still worked with an upright heart. He did not wait for a high position to live well. He lived well wherever I placed him. Because of that, I used him to save an entire people. Do you see? Sometimes the true miracle is simply doing your work rightly in the places no one notices. And when you learn, as Joseph did, to be faithful, humble, and patient, you will find that faith is no longer an idea but a living action. Such faith is neither noisy nor self-advertised, yet it carries a mighty reach. It makes others believe that if there is a God with someone, then surely he must be as kind and honest as you are. I want you to grasp this as well. Faithful work is not only for the building of your own life, but for restoring trust in others. When you do business with integrity in a deceitful age, you become a witness. When you pay wages justly, you preach with your deeds. When you keep your word, you speak for me. Truth still remains on this earth. And when you learn wise stewardship, I will teach you something deeper, still sharing. A true steward does not hoard for himself, but knows when to open his hand. Sharing does not make you poorer. It teaches you to remember that everything you have is only on loan. What could be more beautiful than someone who, having learned the worth of labor, uses its very fruits to help another stand? Then wealth becomes an instrument of love, no longer a burden. Do not fear to reckon and plan, for wisdom does not oppose faith. Faith helps you step, wisdom helps you step rightly. Both come from me. Let them walk together. When you make a plan, I give light. When you adjust your course, I give guidance. When you stumble, I lift you up. I do not demand success from you. I desire your faithfulness to the end. There may be days when all your effort feels futile. Remember, the seed never sees its own flower, yet spring still comes. Faithful labor is never lost. It is recorded in every step you choose, fairness in every time you speak truth. When a lie would be easier, in every day you choose the straight way, when others choose the easy one. This is a work silent, yet most great, the work I am building with you. And then, from those very small days of work, you will come to understand. Faith does not live in long sermons, but in the bearing of the one who swings the hammer, tills the field, keeps the books with gratitude, care, and integrity. When you live like this, you will kindle light in others. They will look at you and see hope. They will see that God still walks within ordinary days. One day, when you have learned to live and labor with a quiet heart, you will discern what I have long wished to say. Work is not only to sustain life, but to purify the soul. For the one faithful in little is the one faithful in love. And that love, when lived within a community, becomes a strength that heals every weary heart. There are stretches you cannot walk alone. However strong your faith, there will be afternoons hollow with emptiness and nights when prayer thins into a sigh. Then the community is my embrace for you, warm, imperfect, yet enough to keep you from the cliff of loneliness. No one is made to believe alone. The spiritual life is the same. It grows in encounter, in the gaze, in the hands, in the prayers we raise together. Do not imagine community as only songs and blessings. Community also has friction, misunderstandings, even wounds. Yet precisely through these, it teaches you to love for real. Love has meaning only when you must learn to forgive. When you choose to remain though your heart still aches, you are learning to love as I have loved, not because someone is worthy, but because love itself is worthy. Spiritual discipline is not coercion. It is learning to keep your heart soft among imperfect people. Some have said, I need only God, not the community. But I tell you, whoever cuts himself off will wither. Faith cannot live in isolation, just as a coal cannot burn when plucked from the fire. You can pray alone, but to grow you must hear others pray. You must see their faith, hear their stories, and recognize that I am at work not only in you, but in all. Community is not perfect because it is formed of people still being healed. Yet there you learn humility, learning that you too need to be upheld, learning that no one is strong enough to stand forever alone. Each time you listen with patience, Each time you slow your judgment, each time you choose silence instead of contention, you are training your soul. This is spiritual discipline, not the rigidity of will, but steadiness in love. That discipline begins with small things: praying regularly, reading my word in a quiet spirit, attending Mass, making a sincere confession, and sharing faith in a small group. Do not treat these as duties. Receive them as breath. You do not need always to feel close to God. What I ask is that you come to me steadily, even when the heart is dry. For faith does not grow in emotion, but in constancy. And when you are steadfast together with others, that faith will be firm as rock. Let the community become the place where you can fall without being shamed, where you can weep without being judged. When one stumbles, another lifts him. When one rejoices, the whole group rejoices. This is the image of the kingdom, not you alone upon a peak, but a people hand in hand crossing the valleys. When you learn to share, you will find your burden lightened because someone is helping to carry your part. I know you sometimes fear the community, fear being hurt, fear being misunderstood. But remember, I chose to live among people too, among the weak and even the traitor. I washed Judas's feet before he betrayed me. If I chose to love in the midst of betrayal, you can learn to love among the not yet perfect. Community is not where you find the good, but where you learn to become better. There was a time I let the disciples pass through a storm together on the sea. Had there been only one, panic would have won. But because they were many, they called my name together. Do you see? The tempest did not drive them apart, it made them one. So too, the trials in a community are not to destroy, but to refine. So you may know you need others not because you are weak, but because you were made to love. Along this way, practice discernment. Not every voice in the community is my voice, but if you listen with love, you will recognize that mine keeps its own cadence, not hurried, not demanding, not condemning, only inviting. Seek out those who listen well, who pray more than they argue, who empathize more than they instruct. A holy community is not a place to flaunt favors received, but to share the longing to become saints. Spiritual discipline in community also teaches you to live truthfully. Do not wear a mask when you come to me. If you are weak, say you are weak. If you doubt, say you doubt. The community does not need the falsely strong, it needs the courageously honest. When you dare to say, I am tired, pray for me, love begins to flow through the unseen cords between souls. And that is the miracle of communion. Learn to look at others with the eyes with which I look at you, without judgment, without measuring. Each person has a path of his own, a rhythm of grace, a season of grace. Some are in bloom, some are sowing, some are withering, so that they may sprout anew. Spiritual discipline is learning to honor another's journey without losing faith in your own. And when you live this way, true, humble, steadfast together with your brothers and sisters, you will taste the joy of a holy community, a joy that needs no glitter and no victories, only the sure knowledge that you are not alone. That is where I remain, within the song, within the sharing, within the compassionate glance, within the simple meal made one by unity. There are long moonless nights when every lamp goes dark and only your trembling breath remains in the shadows. I know you have been afraid. You thought you had lost your faith, felt your prayers fall into emptiness, looked around and found no trace of me. But listen, hope is not the light. It is the strength that keeps you walking until the light arrives. Christian hope does not bloom on warm soil. It springs up in rain and cold ground amid the sobs of souls who think themselves forsaken. I never promised you would skirt the storms, but I always promised to be in the boat. You may not see me because I am asleep, not out of indifference, but to teach you how to be still upon the waves. Only when the winds rise do you learn what your heart is truly holding to. The world will tell you that hope is the belief that everything will turn out well. I tell you, hope is knowing that even if things do not turn out well, I am there. You may lose the one you love, lose health, lose your dreams, even lose your trust in people, but you will never lose me. For I am not in what you possess. I am in the very breath you are struggling to keep. As long as there is breath, there is me. When you weep, I do not fix everything at once. I sit beside you in silence, like a father who knows some pains cannot be mended by words. When you are weak, I do not lift you immediately, because if I did, you would never learn how firmly your legs can stand by my grace. Trials do not drive you from me. They let you touch me more truly with tears, with wounds, with the softest places in your heart. Do you remember the olive trees in the Garden of Gethsemane? There I knelt in solitude with sweat mingled with blood and prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." Even I passed through that loneliness, so you would know that in the depths of despair, a way upward still exists. For sharing in suffering is the path that leads to resurrection. There is no true hope that does not go through the dark. Sometimes you feel like a seed buried in the dark. But remember, no burial comes without the promise of resurrection. The seed must decay before it sprouts. Tears must fall before the heart can bloom. So it is with trials. They do not come to finish you, but to birth you anew, stronger, deeper, more like me. When you stand in the storm, do not seek stillness, seek me. For I am the peace that does not require the storm to cease. Peace is not the absence of waves, but the knowing that I still hold your hand within them. You will discover a strange thing when you stop thrashing, you rise. When you stop resisting, you drift with my grace. And then you understand faith is not about conquering the storm, but about not letting the storm swallow your gentle heart. Christian hope is not a fireworks blaze. It is the quiet flame of a candle in the night. It does not promise glory. It teaches perseverance. It does not paint life in bright colors. It lights you from within. And that light, small, fragile, yet true, can illumine the whole room of the soul. The one without hope is the one who does not dare to wait. But the one who knows how to hope even in despair is already working miracles without noticing. When you look back, you will see every trial was a hand of mine already clasping yours. When you thought you were falling, I was holding you up. When you felt forgotten, I was rewriting your story with invisible ink. And those lines, though no one else may read them, shine bright upon the pages of your life, for I am the faithful author. Remember, I never called you to me to escape suffering. I called you to learn to love within it. True love is not born in ease, but in brokenness made whole. When you love others, though you yourself are wounded, you live the deepest truth of the gospel. When you choose gratitude amid lack, you bear witness to a kingdom no one can take away. The world will always change. There will be ages when people forget to speak of God, forget to pray, forget to hope. Yet so long as one soul still believes, I keep working, and perhaps that soul is you. You small frail have learned not to let go. Your fidelity, quiet as it is the thread that keeps the world from unraveling. And when one day you step through the doorway of eternal life, you will see no trial was meaningless. Every tear you shed has turned to light. Each time you chose forgiveness over resentment, trust over bitterness, you wove another golden thread into the garment of the kingdom. I will cloak you in that garment and say, "You have fought the good fight, believed in the storm, hoped through the night, now rest in my peace." Even if your beginnings are small, an affectionate glance, a sincere word of comfort, or simply a warm embrace for a loved one, trust that these humble seeds are sowing immeasurable blessings into the soil of the world. Love, when given with your whole heart, is never lost. It multiplies, spreads, and returns, bearing healing for others and for you. You were not born merely to endure silently in a chaotic world, but to become light, to be warmth for chilled hearts. When you use your talents, gifts, and resources to spread love, when you step forward to share the message of forgiveness and redemption, you allow me to be revealed through your life. Each time you speak encouragement, lift the fallen, or bear witness to truth, For the lost you become a living testimony of unconditional love. Do not fear that you are not skilled enough, strong enough, or worthy enough. If I have chosen you, I have also prepared everything you need to fulfill that mission. Hesitation is only the faint echo of fear. Deep within faith is waiting to be awakened. Lift up your head, for my hands are always open, ready to take yours at every step. When life wears you down, when you feel there is no ground to stand on, know that I am still there, steadfast and full of love. I do not look at you with judgment, but with the gaze of confidence, for I know you will overcome, because within you burns the flame I breathed into you from the beginning. Contemplate my glorious resurrection, not as a distant sacred tale, but as breath coursing through your veins and cells. In that rising I have breathed new life into your seemingly extinguished dreams, into hopes you thought could never live again. I raise not only the body, but your very soul, so that from the ashes of pain you may blossom into new joy. The eternal life I give you is not a vague promise for someday. It is a present reality whenever you choose love over hatred, forgiveness over anger, whenever you bow in prayer and open your heart to peace. Look back along the road, how many times you thought you would collapse, and I lifted you. How many times you wanted to give up, and I whispered into your soul, "Do not be afraid, I am here." Trials, sorrows, failures are not useless. They are the furnace where your faith is refined and your soul tempered and made radiant like gold passed through fire. Remember, every tear you shed is cherished by me. Every pain you endure is engraved upon my heart, and no sacrifice is forgotten. You think yourself weak, yet in weakness my power is made perfect. See yourself now still standing after many storms, not because you are strong, but because my grace has kept you. The scars on your soul are no longer marks of harm. They have become the witness of victory, the victory of love over darkness, of trust over doubt, of kindness over bitterness. Let me lead you on, for you are mine, and nothing can separate you from that love. The power of my love does not only live in you, it shines through you to those around you. When you live in love, every small deed becomes a miracle, for where love abides, there I am present. Do not fear the hard days, for in trial your soul is forged like a diamond in fire. The challenges before you do not come to destroy you, but to shape you into the masterpiece I have seen in you since the dawn of your life. When you learn to look beyond the tangles before your eyes, you will realize that nothing happens by chance. Every event, every loss, every parting bears a deeper meaning, drawing you nearer to true maturity and fullness. Fix your heart on what brings peace, gratitude, humility, steadfastness, and love. Do not let the clamor and rivalry of the world sweep you away from the light within. When you lift your heart to me in prayer, do not think your words dissolve into the void, for I hear, I understand, and I am at work, even when you do not yet see. My silence is not absence. It is the stillness in which you learn to recognize the whisper of faith and to trust without visible signs. Be strong and bold in pursuing the dream I have planted in your heart, for that deep longing is no accident. It is the mission I have chosen for you. Though you face dead ends, unemployment, or rejection, do not lose heart. A closed door only makes way for a wider path you have not yet perceived. I can turn a barren desert into fields of flowers, the emptiest place into abundance. Go though your first steps tremble. Act though your hands feel weak. Believe though your heart is heavy with doubt. No act is too small for my blessing, no dream too great for my power. Let faith lead the way, for when you walk by faith, you not only reshape your destiny, you kindle hope in many shadowed hearts. Every effort, however small, bears sacred worth when offered in love and faith. Trust that I will bless the work of your hands and enrich your life, not merely with possessions, but with joy and the peace the world cannot give and cannot take away. Welcome the blessings that come in unlikely forms, at times as trials, at times as failures. For within them you learn perseverance, compassion, and true strength. Know that blessing lies not only at the destination, but in each step of the journey and every moment you choose not to give up. Each time you choose love over anger, darkness recedes. Each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, the sacred bond between humanity and God is mended. Live as one loved without condition, for you truly are. Let gratitude, kindness, and faith be the torch that lights your path through the world's night. When you fall, I lift you. When you rejoice, I smile with you. When you lose your way, I am the compass within your heart, leading you home. And when you understand that no matter how winding the road, every path returns you to me, you will know you were never alone. My love does not come and go like the wind. It is like the vast ocean surrounding you, whether you feel it or not. Let that love burn within you, so that even under the long night you keep facing the dawn. And when you share that light with others, it does not diminish. It blazes all the brighter, reflecting the glory of the one who has loved you from the beginning. Beneath the soft light of days that seem the darkest, I see in you not only a weary body, but a soul struggling to breathe in life's tempest. I know every storm that has raged within you. Every long night you lay silent eyes, dry because the tears had run out lips, whispering, "Why must I endure this much?" You may no longer have strength to pray, yet I hear the faint cry for help thin, as breath in the dark. You hide your pain behind a smile and wear a mask of calm so no one sees the ocean raging inside. But I see all, hear all, understand all. I do not reproach you for weakness or for the moments you wanted to give up. On the contrary, I am deeply moved that in the tempest you have kept a small ember of faith still turning back to me, even if only with a trembling plea. That alone stirs heaven, and I open wide my arms so that my peace may cover your soul like a warm blanket over a cold heart. You are not alone, never, not even in the instant you felt abandoned. I was there in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every tear that had not yet fallen. My child, I did not create you to collapse beneath the weight of life. I know exactly how many burdens you have carried, how fiercely you have tried, how many long nights you have stared at the ceiling with an empty heart and only a silence that stings. Yet it is precisely in those moments that appear the darkest that I am at work in the quiet. None of your suffering is meaningless. It is tempering your soul, making you stronger, deeper, and more compassionate. Believe that no trial do I allow without a noble purpose. Every tear that falls is counted by me. Every sigh is heard, and every pain is sown by me as a seed of blessing. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not lose heart, for in my design, not a single moment is wasted. When you feel as though everything has collapsed, that is when I am rebuilding your life with bricks of faith and hope. Do not let the darkness make you forget that the light is still there. The light never goes out. It is only veiled for a time, so you may learn to find it within yourself. I want you to understand that peace is not when every storm has passed, but when in the heart of the storm you still keep your trust in me. You do not need to be strong before me, for I love you even in your weakness. Lay down the cloak of pride. Allow yourself to weep, to throb with sorrow, to admit you are weary, for it is precisely when you are weak that I can be your strength. Hand me the burdens you bear, for the hands that uphold the universe can surely lift your cares. Let me carry them for you, so you can breathe again, smile again, and keep walking without trembling. I do not want you to fight alone, for you were never born for loneliness. You were made to live in love, to share, to trust, and to be loved. Each time you turn toward me, the darkness retreats, and the light begins to shine again. Remember, faith need not be grand, no bigger than a mustard seed, and it can move mountains. I see that mustard seed within you even when you think it is lost. There are days you ask why I let you endure, why I do not intervene sooner. But my child, If I were to lift you out of the fire too soon, how could the gold within you be refined? If I removed every trial, how would you learn the meaning of steadfastness? Every pain carries within it a seed of blessing, if only you are patient enough to let it sprout. I know you are afraid of loss, of betrayal, of wounds that may never heal, but I tell you, do not let fear steal your courage. You do not walk alone. I go with you in every step. I shelter you in every storm, and when you collapse, it is I who lift you in my arms. Let your heart rest in my love, for there is no judgment there, only healing. You will smile again, not because everything is perfect, but because you know I am near, and that is enough. You may have lost many things: the one you loved, the dreams you once cradled, the faith you used to hold tight. But I promise you, what you think is gone will return in another form, fuller and more beautiful. At times I take something away, not to punish, but to clear the path for a greater good to arrive. Remember, I never close one door without opening another. You simply cannot see it yet, because tears have blurred your sight. One day when you look back, you will understand that every loss, every wound, every time you fell was a necessary step, drawing you nearer to yourself, to me, and to the light. For it is in the depths that you learn to look to the heavens. It is in sorrow that you come to know what grace truly is. You do not yet understand all things, but trust me, for my love for you surpasses every reason. Therefore, my child, do not let go and do not retreat. Grasp this promise as you would your final breath. Victory is certain, not by your strength, but by my power at work within you. Though you feel weak, I see in you a warrior rising from the ashes, bearing in your heart a flame of faith that cannot be quenched. You have come farther than you think, and you are stronger than you know. Each time you fall, I raise you up. Each time you weep, I wipe your tears. Each time you grow weary, I place peace upon your shoulders like a new garment. Walk on even if you cannot yet see the road, for I am the light that leads. Believe that goodness draws near even if the sky before you is still gray. After every rain comes a rainbow, after every trial a reward, and after every night a radiant dawn. Say Amen, not merely as a word, but as the soul's response that you are ready to receive strength from me. Let faith burn in your heart, let hope warm your hands, and let my love become the lifeblood flowing through your veins. Where I am, nothing is impossible. Stand firm, for I have chosen you, I have loved you, and I will love you today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Do not listen with ears only. Let every word I speak stream through your heart like cool water over parched ground. My teachings are not mere sounds, but seeds of life sown in the deepest places of your soul. When you long to take them in, when you open yourself in faith and humility, you will feel new life rising in every fiber of your being. Let these words take root, send up shoots within you, and grow into a sturdy tree of peace, strength, and unshakable faith. Do not fear when the winds howl, for a tree with deep roots is never torn up. So it will be with you if you let my word become your very flesh and blood. You will not be toppled by storms or passing doubts. Cherish yourself as I have cherished you, for you are a creature I formed with love, into whom I breathed the breath of life, whom I called by name among multitudes. Do not let the scorn of others or their cold gazes make you forget your true worth. Your worth does not come from the world's approval. It springs from my unconditional love, a love that existed even before you knew how to love yourself. When you learn to love yourself with mercy and patience, your heart will naturally open to others. No one can give what they do not possess, and none can grasp compassion who has not first forgiven themselves. Look upon others with the gaze I cast upon you, without judgment, without demand, with only mercy and the trust that deep within every soul is trying to find its way home. You once longed for miracles, pleaded for signs to be sure that I am at work. But my child, miracles are not far away. They stand at the very edge of your horizon, waiting for you to open the eyes of faith. Miracles do not always wear the splendid garments of the extraordinary. Sometimes they are the peace in the storm, the smile after tears, the strength to rise when all seems lost. Do not look away from what I am doing, for if you hold firm in faith, you will see my hand moving in the smallest details of your life. I did not fashion you to live in fear, bowing to what you cannot control. You are no captive of defeat. You are a warrior of light, forged in the fires of trial to stand firm in contrary winds. When the world makes you tremble, remember, my strength already lives in you. Courage runs in your veins. You may fall, but you are never defeated. You may grow tired, but you are never forgotten. Blessing awaits you, not the perishable blessing of possessions, but the blessing of peace of a soul made whole. It is not a prize for the flawless, but a gift for the one who dares to believe, who dares to take another step, though the destination is unseen. Lay down the burdens that have gnawed at your sleep and stolen your smile. Set them at my feet, for your shoulders were not made to carry the world. I want your soul free, light enough to soar like a bird in the sky of peace. When you allow me to touch your pain, I will soothe it, mend what has been shattered, and turn those broken pieces into signs of grace. Do not fear your weakness, for it is there that my power is made perfect. You think I am far, but in truth I am beside you always, every step, every breath. Though others turn away, though the hands that once held yours have slipped, I do not let you go. I am there in the silence, in the dawn's first light, and in the deepest night. When you feel alone, close your eyes and call my name. You will sense a warmth beyond words that is the presence of eternal love. Many have spoken of my name. They tell of power and preach of wonders. But now is the time for you not merely to hear, but to speak that name for yourself. That name is not just sound upon the lips, it is life surging from faith within the heart. When you call upon my name in adversity, you will see heaven itself stir, for no prayer offered in true faith is ever forgotten. Take hold of what I have promised, for it has been yours since before you knew how to ask. Behold the miracle revealed, for now is the hour I want you to witness with your own eyes what I have prepared for you. I am not only watching, I am testing your heart to see if you are ready to receive the greater blessing. Every action, every choice in hardship is a reply to my invitation. If you stand firm, if you keep a tender heart amid adversity, the sealed blessing will pour down like rain upon thirsty fields. But if you let doubt seize your mind, if you let fear dim your eyes, you may miss the moment I have appointed for you. This very hour is a sacred time, the moment to recognize that trials are not meant to break you, but to open a new door. Be courageous and step through, for I have gone before you. The road may be rough, but my footprints are already set for you to follow. And when you do this, when you believe, when you love, when you persevere, you will not only be transformed yourself, you will carry light to other souls who have lost their way. You will become a living witness to love, to faith, to hope that never fades. Then when you look back, you will see that every sorrow endured and every tear shed was not in vain. They have fashioned a soul that loves more deeply, trusts more strongly, and lives more fully. You will know that I never left. I was teaching you to see with the eyes of faith. Receive this moment as a new beginning. Let your heart open like a blossom at daybreak, that my light may shine and renew all that has withered. Do not hesitate. Do not let this call pass you by, for it is not merely an invitation, it is the chance to live in the fullness I have ordained. Take it, believe, and walk on, for the miracle began the very moment you dared to say, I believe. Even if your dreams begin from the smallest of things, the moment you dare to take my hand and trust your steps, the whole universe will open before you. I do not give you a road without bumps. I give you the strength to rise each time you stumble, the light to glimpse hope in the night, and a heart that keeps loving amid 1,000 breakings. Let the faith within your chest grow, for when you entrust yourself wholly to me, you will no longer lose your way at life's many crossroads. My love for you is not a flame that flares and dies in an instant, but a steadfast lighthouse in a storm-tossed sea, always guiding you home, always patient as you find yourself. Believe that each morning when you wake, the first sunlight touching your hair is my blessing. Every breeze upon your cheek is my gentle message. I am here, and you are never alone. Do not seek happiness among what has already shattered, and do not let the past pull your steps back into the dark. Your wounds are not for you to cradle as fate, but to remind you that you have already been strong enough to overcome. When you can see suffering as a teacher, you will learn patience, learn to love yourself and even those who once hurt you. For true love excludes no one. It only widens the heart to be more compassionate, to understand that every soul is wrestling with its own shadow, and only the light of love can bring them back to life. At times I let you pass through stormy days, not because I forget you, but because I want you to know the power hidden within you. As a seed must lie buried in dark soil to rise, so must you pass through trial to shine more brightly. Not a single tear you shed is meaningless. They water the tender shoots of trust and love growing within your soul. Each time you fall, I am there not to scold you, but to reach out, lift you up, dust you off, and whisper, "See, you are stronger than you think." This life is not short of shadowed stretches, but the light never goes out when you remember to lift your head and believe. I want you to know that no matter how the world may change, no matter who may leave you, I remain the safest place for you to return. Your joy is my smile. Your tears are the ache in my heart. Do not hesitate when you feel weak. Do not hide your fear. Speak to me, trust me, for in these arms you will always be loved without condition. There will be times when the road feels long, dim, and lonely, and you will wonder whether I am still there. But my dear, I have never left, only gone ahead preparing the way, so that when you move forward, every obstacle grows light. At times I hide myself, so you may learn to listen to your own heart, for only then will you understand that faith is not seeing then believing, but believing then seeing. Choose to live unbound by fear. Let love lead, for where love dwells, darkness has no place. You will find that when you live with gratitude, everything around you softens. Even old wounds become songs of hope. Life is a long pilgrimage, and every step you take bears the imprint of my love. Do not rush to blame yourself for mistakes, for they are the very things that mature you. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's, for you were made to be unique, to tell a story no other can write. I do not want you merely to succeed in the eyes of the world. I want you to find peace within, to discover the true meaning of being. Success is not possessing everything, but learning to smile, even in loss. When you learn to release what cannot be kept, when you choose forgiveness over resentment, love over hatred, you are already touching the threshold of freedom. You may not realize it, but I have seen a light within you, a light that is potential compassion and the courage to transcend hardship. Nurture it with faith and daily gratitude. Each kind word you speak, each hand you stretch out to help another warms the world, and in that moment joy floods heaven. You do not need to be perfect. You need only to be true to your heart. For in that truth you will find my light, and you will discover that love does not merely come from without, it has always dwelt within you. When you look up at the sky, remember that every star holds its appointed place, so do you in my heart, an irreplaceable part. You are proof that my love is real, the continuing heartbeat of mercy, the hope I send into this world. Therefore, live as though each day were a miracle. Greet the world with grateful eyes. Whether a soft rain or a passing breeze, everything is a tender sign of my presence to you. And if you grow weary, pause, breathe deep, and let your heart rest in my peace. Let my love become your breath, so that every beat within your chest resounds with the hymn of faith, reminding you that you are loved without condition. Wherever you are, whatever years may pass, whatever changes may come, one thing will never change. I love you, and that love is forever. I am the quiet harbor where you can return the undying flame, the whisper in the deep night when you feel alone. I am the cool water washing sorrow away, the warmth that soothes a tired heart. And when you learn to open yourself to receive, you will understand that everything I do, every trial you face, serves one purpose alone: to help you become strong, gentle, and radiant with my own light. Keep going, my beloved, walk on with the feet of faith and the heart of love, for this journey, whether long or short, is leading you to the most peaceful place, the place where my love encompasses all. My beloved child, if ever your legs grow heavy and your soul feels spent along this long road, remember, in that very weakness, I am nearest to you. When the world turns its back, when hearts grow distant, when the laughter outside no longer warms your spirit, my gaze still follows every breath, every thought, every hidden tear. Do not think you must carry everything alone. Do not believe that trials are the sign of abandonment. No, my child, I have never left you, not for a single breath. In the night I am kindling a small steady flame, so that when you lift your eyes, you will see the light still there, patient for your return, gentle as the first moment I fashioned you in pure love. There are seasons when all around you seems to fall apart. Plans collapse, dreams splinter, what you trusted turns into burdens that bruise the heart. Yet in that very breaking, I am remolding you. Like the seed that must fall into the ground, endure darkness and decay, and then sprout, you too need seasons of falling to learn that strength is not in perfection, but in standing again, in the steadfast belief that hope remains. No pain you endure is ever wasted. I count every tear, and from them I will water new blossoms of faith. I know you have prayed in tears, asked why in the long night. But understand this, not a single prayer is forgotten, not a single sigh is lost in the void. All you lift up is kept within my heart like notes composing the song of salvation. Do not be afraid when you cannot see the way. Take just one step of faith, and I will open the rest. Often you think you must know everything, foresee the future, but if you knew it all, my child, would you still need me? I hide a few chapters of your life story not to make you suffer, but so you may learn to trust, to wait, to love before you. See, the destination matters less than the journey we walk together. Sometimes I let you enter the storm not to drown you, but to show that you can be at peace in the waves because my hand still holds you. In the winds, your faith is tested. In the testing, you become steadier, clearer, more true. While the world teaches that worth lies in wealth, rank, or fame, I teach that worth is found in kindness, fidelity, and gratitude. You were not made to chase applause, but to live in the true light, the light of unconditional love. I have seen within you a small, pure flame, a light that, though the gusts of life may seem to snuff it out, still glows beneath the ashes. I will breathe upon that ember until it blazes, so you become a beacon for the lost and a warmth to cold hearts. Do not compare yourself with anyone, for in my eyes you are singular, a work shaped by my own hands, bearing a purpose no other can fulfill. When you perceive your true worth in my gaze, you will cease to seek approval from others, knowing you are already loved and complete from within. I know this world is full of deceit, sweet words that sway you, glittering images that pass for blessing, but are only mirage. So I invite you back to the stillness of your soul, to the place where only you and I remain. There you will hear my quiet voice, never loud, never forcing, only the gentle wind murmuring, I love you. When you listen with your heart, fear and anxiety melt away. True love never pushes you into the pit of dread. True love bestows peace, even in adversity. Learn to stop, not to give up, but to sense my presence in every breath. For sometimes the miracle does not thunder from the sky. It arrives in the still moment when you realize I am still here. Many will not understand you. They may judge, doubt, or turn away when you go against the current. Do not let that dim your ardor. Remember, those who carry light are often opposed by darkness. Walk on even when no hands applaud, for I look upon you with tender eyes. Every small act that springs from your sincerity I see and cherish. When you offer forgiveness, love those who hurt you, and choose silence over bitterness, then you resemble me more than ever. In such moments, the world around you is changed in ways you cannot imagine. Guard a soft heart, my child. Do not let wounds make you hard, nor disappointment make you forget that I am still at work in quiet ways. Many good things do not arrive in haste, yet they come in their right time. I am never late, and I never forget. Each time you think you have lost your way, I am redrawing the map. You think a door has closed, but I am opening another. You simply have not seen it yet. Sometimes for you to behold the light, I must let the night pass over. For you to value peace, I must let you taste a little storm. Yet all of this is held within the plan of love, a perfect plan nothing can undo. Be courageous and move forward even when you do not yet see the outcome. Walk by faith, not by what your eyes behold, for what is seen can change, but my word is everlasting. You do not fight alone, for I have set my angels around you, and the righteous will uphold you on the road. I am also sowing in your heart the strength of gratitude, because when you give thanks in hardship, you open the door for miracles to enter. Trust that every trial is an opportunity to grow, to deepen your faith, to widen your love. When you lift a prayer, even if it is only a soft breath, I hear it, and I will act at the right time. Do not fear that you are not good enough. I have never chosen you because you are perfect. I choose you because I see within you an inexhaustible capacity to love. You may stumble and make mistakes, but do not let sin bind you. Run to me, for in my arms there is no condemnation, only forgiveness and renewal. I will wash away the stains, restore what has been broken, and turn wounds into testimonies of grace. You will tell your story, not with shame, but with gratitude for redemption. And every scar on your soul will stand as witness to my boundless kindness. And when a new day dawns, rise with a heart full of hope. However dark the past has been, it does not define you. The future rests in my hands, and I have already written lines brimming with joy for you. I will open paths you never dared to dream, and grant blessings beyond understanding. But first learn to love yourself, not with pride, but with reverence, for you are a creature of love. When you see yourself through my eyes, timidity and worry loosen their hold, and you begin to live as one truly beloved. Therefore, my child, go on with courage. Do not let yesterday's shadows steal tomorrow's light. Keep sowing seeds of love, even if the ground around you seems dry. Keep trusting, even if the storm has not yet stilled. For when you persevere, I will bring the blossoms to bloom. When you are faithful, I will fulfill my promise. When you keep believing, though you see nothing, that is when heaven draws nearest, and in that quiet the miracle comes not like thunder, but like a gentle breeze, like a smile of peace, opening in the heart of the storm. I tell you, live each day to the full, for each day is a gift. Be grateful simply for breath, for the sight of the sky, for the sound of wind through the leaves. Open your heart to others, for when you give love, you mirror my image. You need not do grand things, do small things with a great heart. In doing so, you change the world in a way no fame need ever record. Now I want you to rest assured, whatever the future holds, I am with you. No storm can tear you from my embrace. No sin is stronger than my grace. No fear greater than my love for you. You are mine forever. I promise this love will never fade, never run dry, never fail. Even when your feet are so weary, you feel you cannot take another step, even when your soul is heavy with nameless pains. Remember that in every moment you collapse, I am there, tender, merciful, and patient. I never leave you, Never turn my face from your tears or weakness. You may think you are lost, and your prayers vanish into the air, yet every sigh and hidden tear touches my heart. I listen not only with the ears of the Creator, but with the heart of a loving Father. When you think you can no longer believe, faith is quietly sprouting within you like a green shoot rising in parched soil, and though you do not perceive it, I am warming that seed with everlasting love until the day it rises strong and unafraid, breaking through every darkness. My child, the trials you meet are not punishments, but invitations to learn to see light in the night, to discover that true strength is not found in ease, but in standing firm amid the tempest. I know there are times you doubt, even wish to give up. I am not angry with you. I love you more, for only souls that have passed through suffering know how deep love can be. When you feel small before a vast world, remember, it is precisely in smallness that I choose to show my power. I am not in the thunderclap or the raging storm, but in the quiet breath of faith in the small peace, when you dare to say, I still believe. And when you say it, all of heaven grows silent to listen, for it is the sound of a soul that will not yield. Every step you take, however slow or trembling, is a journey of love. I have ordained this path not for your failure but for your growth, so that you may learn how strong you truly are. The world may wound you, but no one can touch a soul shielded by faith. When you fall, I do not count how many times you went down. I count how many times you stood up. With each rising, you draw closer to me, nearer to the light, to truth, to the noble essence I placed within you from the beginning. Do not fear the wounds, for they are proof of a battle once fought with all your heart. And if one day you find yourself covered in scars, know that each is a kiss of grace, the place where I touched you to heal. Believe that no storm lasts forever. Even in the darkest night, dawn waits at the horizon. I know there are moments when you cannot see the light, but that does not mean it is gone. As the sun still shines, though hidden by clouds, your hope has never been extinguished. Let your heart grow still and listen for the sound of peace. I never hurry in my work within you, for true love is never rushed. It grows through each moment. You dare to trust amid doubt, to step forward not knowing what lies ahead. In those very hours your soul is forged, your faith refined, and your heart made more radiant than ever. The world is full of the lost and the discouraged, but do not faint. You were not born to dissolve into despair, but to become a lamp in the night. That lamp may be small, yet a single ray can scatter a sea of darkness. I walk with you, step by step, breath by breath, guiding you through turns you yourself may not understand. You need not understand everything you need, only trust. Whenever you place your trust in me, all things come together in the right time and place. Your destiny has been written by my hand, not with ink, but with light, with love, with truths that cannot be erased by time or by failure. On the third day when I rose, I shattered not only the chains of death, but every chain binding your soul. That victory is not mine alone, it is yours. You are lifted with me into glory, power, and freedom. It is not a distant symbol, but a living strength pulsing in every beat of your heart. Let that power anchor your soul as you pass through storms. When the world tries to pull you down, lift your head, for within you is a victory already decreed. This is no illusion, but a sacred reality. Each time you choose love over hatred, forgiveness over blame, you rise with me, stepping out of your own tomb into the light of resurrection. Beloved, this journey is not easy, but it is rich with meaning. There will be days when hope seems gone, yet it is in despair that I plant new seeds of life. Know that my love does not change when you are weak or doubtful or at fault. It does not rest on what you do, but on who you are, the child I have named, chosen, and loved before the world began. Wherever you go, I will pursue you, not to judge, but to gather you into my arms. You belong to me forever. When you let me enter, You will see every storm is temporary, but love is eternal. Every pain a passing shadow while grace shines on. Walk on, my child, with a peaceful heart and eyes bright with faith. Do not look back with regret or ahead with fear. Live fully in this present moment where I am with you. I am the guide, the light, the shelter. Let every worry dissolve in my breath and find your rest in a peace that cannot be shaken. You need not be perfect to be loved, for my love has never required conditions. As long as you long to return, my arms will always be open, as they were, as they are, and as they will be forever. Though life's darkness may cover you, and the winds may howl, until hearts tremble, a gentle, steadfast, everlasting light waits for you at the end of the road. I come not to judge or demand, but to open my arms to all the weariness you have carried, to the secret tears of the night, to the unheard sighs. I come to comfort and to whisper, give me everything that weighs you down, for in my hands the burden will grow light as breath, and sorrow will vanish like morning mist beneath the Sunday. Do not hesitate to open your heart. Do not fear to walk through stormy days, for it is precisely when faith seems lost that you discover my light never goes out. I am the lamp kindled in the long night, the warmth that shelters you in the cold of this life, the hand that leads you through precarious turns without losing yourself. Let your kindness become a beacon for others, so that every word you speak, even in adversity, is steeped in love and truth. Truth is not hard to say, but truth spoken in love is what makes it beautiful and healing. For only love can reach the deepest places of the human soul, where every wound longs to be known and held. When you choose to act in love, when you let your heart lead, instead of fear, that is when your life becomes a living testament to truth and light. Each step you take, each thing you do will almost without notice guide others back to what is right, back to the source of radiance they once lost. Live as if each day were a chance to replant trust, to carry kindness forward, to let your heart, though once wounded, love once more. For in my eyes you are not merely one struggling to get by, but one who is chosen, loved with a love that is unconditional, a love that reaches beyond time and space. Such love does not demand perfection nor require proof in words. It exists to uphold, to embrace, and to lead you back to the most luminous part of who you are. You may not yet grasp all of this, but in every weary moment I am beside you, quietly steadying each breath, each step you take. Every trial you face, loss, loneliness, failure, is a small stone laid upon the path that brings you to maturity. They do not come to break you, but to make you stronger, deeper, and able to see life through the eyes of compassion. Believe that no tear of yours falls without being understood. No plea you send upward goes unheard. In every stillness where you think you are alone, that is when I whisper to your soul, you are not alone. My child, cease reproaching yourself for what you have not yet achieved. Look back and see how many brambles you have crossed, how many times you have risen after a fall. I see within you a strength even you have not recognized, a flame still burning. Though the winds of life blow hard, that flame is kindled by faith, by steadfastness, and by the love I planted deep within your soul from the moment you were made. You were not born merely to exist, but to shine, to give warmth, to remind the world that in every darkness there is always the light of compassion. Life offers no promise of ease, yet I promise you will never walk in meaninglessness. Every stumble is a lesson. Every wound is the mark of courage. Do not fear when your heart aches, for out of such pain, true understanding and genuine love are born. Let your heart open to receive all things, joy and sorrow alike, for only when you love wholly can you grasp the peace I long to give. That peace is not the absolute quiet of circumstance, but the steadiness of the soul amid upheaval. It is a lamp that never goes out, no matter how fierce the storm outside. Remember that the light I placed within you is not for you alone, but that you might illumine others. When you choose forgiveness over resentment, love over closing off, you make the world gentler, more beautiful, nearer to heaven. Every good deed, however, small, sends ripples outward, touching other hearts and awakening in them something they thought was lost. I behold in your simplest acts a sharing smile, a helping hand, a word of understanding, a wondrous power to heal that you never expected. For you need not perform great feats to change the world. Sometimes a single sincere heart is enough to make the darkness recede. When you learn to love yourself in truth and not in pride, you will know how to love others completely. I want you to see yourself through the eyes of mercy, not accusing, not harsh, but capable of forbearance and of honoring who you already are. Only when you can forgive yourself will you truly be free. Let trust become the energy that nourishes every step you take, so that even if you should fall into the darkest place, you will remember that you are loved, you are chosen, and you are never abandoned. Beloved child, many storms still lie ahead. There will be times when it seems everything has collapsed and what you believed no longer holds worth. Yet in that very moment, when you release your resistance, you will feel my hand taking yours, not to pull you into escape, but to steady you where you stand. I do not promise to calm every storm, but I promise to quiet your heart within the storm. You will learn to hear the whisper of life, the call of faith, and to see that every trial is part of the journey back to the light. I do not need you to be strong at every moment, nor do I expect you never to stumble. What I ask is that you never lose the conviction that you are loved, for when you believe, all things can be healed. Keep walking though the road is rough, for I am walking with you. Trust that what pains you today will become tomorrow's grace, that what you lose today is a necessary piece that makes the picture of your life more whole. And when you look back, you will understand, I never left. Therefore live with a heart wide open, with eyes that see the good in others, and with the faith that every day has meaning. Let each action, each word, each breath of yours become a hymn of love. Let your life be a small candle, adding its flame to brighten the human world, so that wherever you are, there is less darkness. For my child, you yourself are the proof of the love I have sent into this world, a love that does not fade, does not fail, does not end. And as long as you keep believing, that light will forever shine, leading you and many others to the haven of peace. Beneath the deep sky where light and shadow meet, a voice resounds from eternity, a gentle yet resolute call from the one who fashioned your soul. He does not ask you to be perfect, nor demand that you prove your worth by finite strength. He desires only that you dare to step out of the invisible chains that have bound you too long. Fear, doubt, and the old wounds etched upon your heart like marks that refuse to fade. You have carried the burden of the past upon your shoulders, letting it dim the light within, making you forget that you were born for freedom, for radiance, to love and be loved. But today that mighty hand reaches out to touch your soul, tender yet full of power, like a beam of light, cleaving the night, drawing you up from the abyss of isolation. He comes not to judge, but to break every chain, to open before you a new beginning, where freedom is no longer a dream, but the very breath of now. My child, do not keep turning back to the past, for what is gone has no power to define you. You are not your mistakes, not your falls, nor the tears that have been shed. You are light reborn in grace. Every wound, however deep, He can touch and heal with unconditional love. What once made you afraid, what once made you doubt yourself, is now being consumed by that light like mist under the morning Sunday. You need seek no one's approval, for you are chosen, your name inscribed upon the heart of the Creator. His love for you is no fragile promise, but a sacred covenant carved into eternity. When you are weak, He is your strength. When you fall, He is the hands that lift you. When you lose your way, He is the torch that guides you. Do not fear loneliness, for even should the world turn its back, He still stands there watching over you with the gaze of mercy. Not a single tear you shed is wasted, for each one is a seed sown into the field of grace. He sees, he hears, he feels all that you cannot put into words. In the depths of your soul, where you think no one can understand, he is present. He does not come to force you to forget, but to teach you to see the past through the light of forgiveness and healing. You need no longer carry the weight of the world upon your tired shoulders. He walks with you step by step, breath by breath, weaving each moment with the threads of hope and kindness. My child, the joy you long for has never left you. The light you seek has always been near, waiting for you to open your heart to receive it. For the Most High is not far away. He is in every heartbeat, every breeze, every glance, every small and seemingly trivial thing that holds boundless love. He is the unshaken foundation, the safe refuge when life's storms break. You are not invisible, you are not forgotten. He knows your name, knows each pain, each dream, each silent depth you scarcely dare to touch. And there in that very place he is preparing to pour out blessing, not like a lonely drop of dew, but like a downpour of abundant grace. Every chain that binds your soul, every worry that has weighed upon your mind, he will shatter. Each burden, each shadow, each thing that has wearied you will be washed clean by the river of mercy. He does more than heal. He makes new, shaping you into a new creation, radiant, free, and full of life. In the stillness he gives, you will find true comfort, not because trials cease to exist, but because he is present within them. Let your heart beat in rhythm with divine love. Let his word soak into your soul like a cool stream, washing away the dust of the road. When you open your heart, that blessing will not only touch you, it will flow through you to other souls who thirst for light. He has set you apart for a noble purpose, a mission beyond your boldest dreams. It is no accident you were born for this moment, in a world of tumult and shadows, for he chose you to bear a torch. Believe that he chose no one by mistake, for he sees in you a potential you have not yet seen. When you dare to say, "I assent," it is more than an admission. It is an awakening the moment you entrust your soul to eternal love. In that very instant, new life begins to flow, freedom flares, and darkness dissolves. Child, this way is not strewn with roses, but it is the path of light where every step is guided by a loving hand. You will stumble and grow tired, yet do not be afraid, for he will raise you whenever you are weak. That love does not ask for perfection, only fidelity and a willing heart. You are called to live, to radiate, to love as he has loved. He does not wish you only to receive, but to become a wellspring, so that through you his love multiplies without end. When you forgive, when you understand, when you dare to love amid hurt, that is when you reflect the image of the one who made you. Every trial, every sorrow, every falling tear is not in vain. They are not punishments, but preparations for a greater glory. He is using all things to shape your soul into a truer form, not by the standards of the world, but by the heart of holy love. When you look back, you will see that each pain carried within it the seed of new life. Each loss led you to a deeper grace. Do not close your heart, for the more you open it, the more you will feel his love surrounding you. Let that light flood the deepest places, the rooms where darkness once dwelt, until there bloom the flowers of peace. And when the final day arrives, when you pause at the edge of this earthly journey, you will see that every promise he ever spoke has been fulfilled. Not by dazzling wonders that startle the crowd, but by a quiet, patient, steadfast love that redeemed you day by day. That love touched your weakest places, lifted you when you thought you would collapse, and taught your soul to soar like a free bird in the everlasting light. Then, with a last smile beneath the sunset of your days, you will understand all you ever sought, longed for, and feared to lose has been found in him who is love, the source of life, the peace that never fades. Be at rest and do not let your heart be shaken by what eyes see, and ears hear by the crashing waves of life or the whispered doubts within your mind. I am here neither distant nor silent, but at work in ways you do not yet comprehend. At times I work in stillness, at times through adversity, at times through people you least expect. Yet by whatever means, all that I do is for your good and your growth. Place your hopes, your fears, your dreams, and even the unspoken things in my hands. Those hands are strong enough to uphold the world and gentle enough to dry your tears alone. When you entrust all you do, not lose anything, you open your heart to receive everything: faith, peace, and new life. If these words touch your soul, if deep within you feel a stirring, let its current pour into your heart and fill it with a serenity nothing can shake. That peace does not come because all goes well, but because you know I am with you, and so there is nothing left to fear. You have never been alone, even when you felt yourself walking through a long starless night with no one to understand you and no one to listen. You have not been by yourself, for I have walked beside you, speaking to you in the language of the wind, of light, of the small things you so often forget. I am the breath of the early morning, the whisper in the midnight hours, the warmth in the arms of those who love you. I am present not only in churches and prayers, but in every moment of your life, when you are weary, when you are glad, when you think you have fallen beyond rising. Do not let the past imprison your soul, for all that has been I have used to teach you patience and forgiveness. Do not let fear of the future bind your mind, for I have gone before you, prepared the way, and readied everything you will need. Walk in trust, unhurried, unafraid, for your destination is not only at the road's end, but in every moment you live in my presence. If the storms rise again, as they so often do in this life, remember that my embrace is always your quiet refuge. No matter how fierce the winds or how much the world around you shatters, there is a steadfast place in the midst of the tempest. It is I where you can take shelter, breathe gently, and rest. When you are exhausted, do not thrash about in the whirlpools of anxiety. Let me gather you into my arms, so you may see that peace is not the absence of storms, but the knowing of where to take refuge. However wild the gale, you are not abandoned. Whenever you call my name through sobs, or with a tired whisper, I hear, I answer, I come. Return to me. Seek not the peace the world cannot give. In my embrace, you will find what no one else can bestow, the true healing of a soul long wearied. Amid the storm that twists within, when the voices of worry, fear, and self-reproach pull against one another, I will place in you a gentle remedy, not a quick promise, but my deep and steady presence. I will touch what has not yet healed, soothe the memories that weigh you down, and set within your soul a durable peace that surpasses all understanding. It is not the fragile calm of passing feelings, but the peace that springs from an utter trust that whatever comes, you are loved, you are kept, and you have a place to belong. That peace is like a warm flame in the winter night, like a low song sounding in the soul when all around is still. When you learn to pause, draw a deep breath, close your eyes, and say, I place everything in your hands, that very moment the storm begins to quiet, not because the wind ceases, but because your heart has learned to rest. I know there are days when you cannot pray, cannot find the words, only tears and emptiness remain. But my child, I understand even what you cannot say. I hear the cry that never becomes a sentence. I touch the hidden corners you keep so carefully veiled, not to judge, but to love and to heal. I do not ask you to be strong at every moment, for it is precisely in weakness that you allow me to be your strength. When you release your lone efforts and let me act, you will see the miracle within, not merely without. The storm may remain, yet your heart is at peace. The waves may still pound, yet within you the waters lie still. Let this peace become the foundation of your life. Do not seek it in what fades, for true peace comes when you know that I am your source, your refuge, the gentle call you have heard since ages past. I do not promise to erase all suffering, but I promise that within every sorrow you will never stand alone. When you walk amid the tempest, I am the cloak that shields you. When you lose your way, I am the lamp before your feet. When you collapse, I am the hand that lifts you. And when you look back on the road you have traveled, you will see that no storm could ever extinguish my love for you, the love that has kept your heart beating through every squall of life. So be at peace. Let every burden dissolve in my arms. Do not fret about tomorrow, do not mourn yesterday. Simply be present to this moment where you and I meet in the quiet of the soul. This peace you will not grasp by reason, but by the pulse of your own heart. It is a deep peace beyond all understanding and beyond all words, because it springs from the very source of love from me, who call your name in every breath of the present. Peace is not far away, beloved child. It stands right beside you, soft as a breeze upon your skin, hidden as breath woven into your heartbeat. That peace is the eternal witness that I am with you, every minute, every second, without a step's distance. When you think I am silent, that is when I am nearest, watching you rise in strength quietly, drying the tears you would not let others see. Do you remember the times you felt utterly alone, when every door closed, when your call dissolved into the cold air? I was there in the breath you drew, in the trembling beat of your heart, in the tears that fell, and in the first light of dawn. After a long night, you have never been forsaken, never then, and never to come. For my love does not shift with the years, nor fade with time. It is the sacred cord that binds your soul to the eternal light, the proof that you can never be lost in this world of constant change. I have stood beside you through every high and low, through radiant days and shadowed nights. When you stumbled, I was the hand that raised you. When you tired, I was the shoulder where you could rest. When you lost direction, I was the lamp to guide your way. You did not know that in every silent endurance I was suffering with you. I feel the pain you carry, and my heart beats in time with yours, in those moments you thought you had nothing left. I know there are times you want to let go of it all, but it is then that I hold your soul with infinite tenderness. So you may understand, not every silence is distance. Sometimes it is the way I wrap you in the deepest love. My peace is not the absence of storms, but the strength that keeps you standing in the rain. Beloved child, your road may be long, winding, and full of trials, yet every step has been appointed by me for a purpose higher than you can imagine. I am shaping you through hardship into a bright gem tempered in fire to shine with everlasting light. Today's pain is not a period, but a prelude to a great beginning. Believe this: no tear you shed is meaningless. No night lasts forever, and no trial is sent without a blessing woven within. When you think your strength is gone, I will supply more. When the weight of life is too heavy, I will quietly shoulder it with you. And when you have no words left to pray, I will let your heart speak for you. For I know that words are not always needed, only that your soul keeps turning toward me. I extend my hand, child, to break the chains that bind your spirit, the cords of fear, shame, yesterday's wounds, and old hurts. It is time to be free, to live fully as your true self, to be released from whatever makes you fall. I do not want you to dwell forever in the shadow of worry and regret. I long to see you walk with light in your eyes and an unburdened heart. Let me remove the invisible shackles you have worn too long, the bindings of sorrow, remorse, and self-reproach. Only when the soul is set free can you hear the whisper of peace. Peace does not come from without. It rises from within, from the still place where you and I abide together. When you lay aside all anxieties, when you surrender wholly, when you let me lead, you will find your heart grown windless, and in that stillness you will know that the storm never truly had the right to defeat you. My love child of mine is an eternal lighthouse upon a sea of heavy waves. However far you wander, however thick the night, that light will shine to guide you home. When you feel adrift on the wide ocean of life, remember, lift your eyes, and you will see it, the light of hope, of faith, of love that never goes out. I am the holy shelter your soul longs to return to. Let me hold you in the arms of the very heart of creation, where there are no more tears, no more fear, only perfect serenity. When you grow weary, lay your head upon my shoulder. When you feel weak, let me lift you. When you feel hopeless, let me rekindle your faith. For I am the dawn after the long night, the harbor after the storm, the life that rises after loss. I am nearer to you than anyone else, nearer than those you love, nearer than you can conceive. No one knows you more deeply than I, for I know not only what you think, but what you need. I do not see you merely from the outside. I see through to your very soul, every fear, every longing, every forgotten dream. I share your joy when blessings begin to unfold, when quiet prayers are answered. I rejoice when you smile, for your smile testifies that my love is alive within you. I am not far, and I have never been far. I am here in your breath, in each beat of your heart, in every tear of gratitude. The peace you seek is not at the horizon, but within you, where I am, where love never fades, where you are forever cherished, as in the beginning. Now open your heart like a blossom greeting the morning sun, and offer me the prayers that rise from the deepest place within, where faith and love are washed clean in the light of divine grace. Almighty God, I come to you with a trembling heart, yearning to rest in your loving arms. There are moments when I am weak and feel I cannot go on yet. I know that in my weariness, you are gently leading me along the rough roads of this life. Please grant me strength to stand firm amid the storm, so that when the winds of despair pass through, I still hear your voice within saying, "Do not be afraid, for I am here." Lord, I offer you my worries, my wounds, and my hidden tears. Transform them into seeds of peace and faith. Teach me to live each day in gratitude, so that in sorrow or in joy, I may see your light shining in every moment. Lord, when night covers the earth, my soul stands bare before you. I look back on my faults, on the times I doubted, the times I let fear overrun my trust, yet you never turned away. Pour your consolation into my heart, that in the darkness I may still behold the light. Teach me to be patient, while the road stretches on to love, even when I am hurt, and to forgive as you have forgiven me. I know that in the deep of night, my faith is refined like gold in the fire. Abide with me, O Lord, that when dawn breaks, my heart may be reborn in your grace. O my God, who have written my destiny in love and light, I surrender all to you. There were times I lost my way among the many paths of the world, heeding its voices and forgetting yours within. Draw me back, Lord, to the true way where you are waiting. Grant me faith strong enough not to fall before trials, eyes to see the good amid ruins, and a heart that recognizes your hand in every turn of life. Though all things change, let my heart remain faithful, for I know that all you do is good, even when I cannot yet understand. Merciful Lord Jesus, in my unsteady and lonely days, come and remain with me. No one understands me as you do, you, who were wounded out of love for me. Do not let me sink into fear. Help me feel your quiet presence in every breath. When the world grows cold and rejects me, let me rest my head upon your shoulder, where I find comfort and the courage to go on. Help me to know that even when I feel distant, your love surrounds me like a river that never runs dry. Lord of mercy, I bow in gratitude for the unconditional love you have poured over my life. Thank you that though I am weak, you choose me, still holding me close as a child consoled. Your love is my very life. It is where I find myself again after every fall. I thank you that no fault can make you cease to love me, for in you I discover compassion deeper than the sea. Gracious God, I thank you even for the sorrows I once resented. Now I understand that those wounds revealed the hidden support of your hand. I know no suffering is meaningless when I live in you. Each trial is a lesson, each tear a seed of faith. Thank you for turning my tears into light, my weakness into strength, and my sinful heart into a witness to your mercy. Loving Father, I thank you that you have never abandoned me, even when I strayed from you. I thank you for your presence in the smallest things, in a stranger's smile, in the morning sun, in the warmth of an embrace. You are everywhere. Only let me open my heart, and I will find you in all things. Never let me forget that your presence is the greatest treasure, the light upon my path, the very breath of hope in my life. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.